Yo, what up, bro?
How's it going?
Huh? What up?
It's been a while.
Haven't seen you in a minute, bro.
Have a dog.
Yeah, I lock my dog up in case he interrupts.
I love dogs.
No, he's gonna, distract me, bro. Put on this mic.
Can I keep my glasses on or off?
It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter.
You have a nice place.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is my crib, not too shabby,
Okay.
But yeah.
Hello.
Why are you being shy, bro?
I'm not being shy. I just came.
Oh, okay. You just woke up type shit?
I took a Lime bike. Is this on Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you know?
I've used Twitch.
you
before.
streamed before?
No,
Or
I don't
you
stream. I
watch-
used to watch some people stream.
Tagging down.
There you go.
Oh yeah, okay.
Can I get some water, actually?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, bro, I got you, man.
Oh, you got the hookah and shit. Ooh,
Yeah, bro.
appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. So how you been, man? Haven't seen you in a minute.
I've been busy, I guess. I had
busy?
work presentations and stuff
Okay.
coming up, but that got done. So now I'm kind of chilling.
Okay.
Things are
I
looking
feel
nice.
like I don't know if it's like it's being a lot for work, but I feel like you are not, in the mood of, happy or even enjoy life in a sense. Comparing to, the last time I met you.
The last time we met, the circumstances were
Okay,
very
okay,
different.
okay.
I was ready to get turned. you know?
Okay.
I feel like I lock into certain parts of my personality more when I'm doing something.
Okay.
So of course, like, it takes a little minute to
Yeah.
transition.
Of course. So how's lab?
Lab's been. So the thing is, I feel like I stress myself out more than anyone else.
Really?
Like, because my advisor's an awesome guy. Like, he's the most chill person ever.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result, I feel like I need to be really self-motivated to get anything done.
Okay.
And generally speaking, that's a good thing. But sometimes, like, finding when to stop
Yeah.
is really important. Otherwise, you can just burn yourself out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like I have moments where I'm like, oh, I gotta be so productive. I gotta do all these things. And then other times, like, I need to do fucking nothing today.
Yeah, I feel like it's more about having a checklist. You know what I'm saying? If you're just like thinking about stuff and doing stuff, like
Yeah.
whatever you feel like you are doing, right?
Because there's like thousands of things you need to
of
get
course,
done, but
of
it's about
course.
prioritizing and making a
priority,
list.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that's exactly what. So I have ADHD, which makes
Are
organizing.
you diagnosed?
Yes,
Or-
I
okay.
take medication.
Oh, really?
I've been going to therapy for the past 4 years.
Oh, I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, so it's been a challenge. It's been a struggle. But I think having that, like, routine of, okay, these are the 3 things which I have to get done today,
Right. Yeah.
and that's it, makes the thinking part a lot easier because it's out there and it's not in my brain.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like, there's pros and cons for ADHD, but obviously if you can put that in the right position, it can get you to up here, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's exactly it. Because sometimes I feel so locked in that it's like 10 at night and I'm still like, oh, I have to finish this. I need to know what happens
Right, yeah,
next.
yeah.
It's like that obsessiveness which comes into picture. But other times, if, like, I'm not interested in this thing, no matter, like, how important it is, just like, I don't want to fucking do this right now.
Yeah.
So it's like a superpower in some senses, and
for
other
sure.
times it's like really hard to do very basic, simple shit,
For sure.
which I guess most people would take for granted.
But do you feel like, ADHD or the characteristics of ADHD help you to date girls or even talking to girls? Because I feel like I have like minor ADHD too,
Okay.
and I feel like that's been a huge part of just helping me to, I don't know, getting to know girls because. I don't
So when you talk about, like, meeting people,
Mhm.
I think my ADHD does not have much to do with that. Of course, like whenever you meet someone new, there's like a sense of excitement because there's like, oh, who is this? You know, I want to know something about this, or I find something attractive about them, and I want to like pursue this further. But I feel like I lose interest really quick.
Really?
Yeah. So
in what way?
So for me personally, I feel like I enjoy the chase more than anything.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
like
you're a hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when I see this girl and I think like she's really attractive, I'd go up and like ask her, "Hey, what's going on? What's up?" And I feel like through the years, I've kind of figured out what are the sort of questions to ask.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, like and, your pickup routine.
Yeah. If you want to call it that, you know. Okay. And it's really simple, to be honest. Ask questions about themselves and make them tell you things. Okay. And then just kind of respond to it.
Right.
You know, it's nothing elaborate like, "Hey, yo, you're the only 10 I see," or like, you know, you don't need like cheesy pickup lines or anything. It can be the most like mundane shit.
Yeah.
But if it kind of communicates to her that you're listening, I think that's what like most women find really attractive.
Okay.
But I feel like there's a stage where sometimes like women play hard to get. Like they're giving you some attention, but you know, they're making you work for more, which makes me really like catch on to it. Okay. It's like, okay, you know, I gotta flirt harder. I gotta try this. I gotta try that.
So you tend to like girls that don't like you that much. You tend to like them more.
No. It's not even about liking. It's about the whole like flirting dynamic of, oh, I'm trying to get you to like me.
Okay.
And once I've succeeded, I don't care.
That like you've never like dated people for a long term?
I have. I've actually dated for someone for 6 years.
Oh wow! So how did that turn out?
How did that turn out? Like how did it start or?
How did it start? And how
okay.
Did it
Yeah. So basically, I was in like high school, like 10th grade.
Okay.
And
that's when you were back in.
I was back in India at that time.
Okay.
I was back in India at that time. So I was like, I was the kid who studied.
Okay.
But I always like prided myself in being the kid who also like knew how to have fun.
Okay.
So I had like friends in both groups, like the nerds and also the kids who like go out to parties or like drink underage. So
drink underage.
Yes, okay. that was a big thing. Still is. But anyway, this girl was basically an athlete. She used to play volleyball. She was really athletic.
Right.
And her best friend. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She was in a different like class than me.
Okay.
So she would always come to my class because the girl who used to sit right next to me was her best friend. Okay. And they would go like play like sports together. So essentially I kind of used that as my in. I started playing badminton to talk to her.
Okay. As she plays badminton?
She used to play everything.
Okay.
Volleyball, basketball, badminton. She's like the most athletic girl you could think of.
Okay.
And I started playing. I competed in some like tournament to talk to her.
Right.
And eventually, you know, I told her like, I think you're really cute. I
that was, you know, after knowing her for like
maybe like
6 months.
No, 2 or 3.
2 years?
Weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Like, dude, I was just like, I've always really been interested in women since I was like a super young age. Like, I'm not even kidding. When I was in second grade. I wrote like a letter which I wanted to send to my crush in the class. And it was basically like a love letter telling her how much I, you know, wanted her. And at that time, I didn't really understand what sex was.
Or like, you know, how you wanted to become friends with her.
No, I wanted to marry her. Because I was like, that is the most like romantic thing you can do to someone.
Okay.
So I told her like, you know, I'm gonna marry you. And at that time, I thought the most sexual thing was like a midriff. Like when you wear a bikini, your like belly's exposed. So I was like, I want to kiss you on the belly, and I made a fucking drawing of it. I made a picture at the bottom, and I was going to give it to her the next day. Thank God my parents found that. My parents found that while they were like putting my lunchbox or something in my bag.
And that was when you were like 8 years old or so?
Second grade. I don't know how old I was then, but yeah. So I've always like had a lot of interest towards women since a young age.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the 6-year-long relationship worked out pretty well. But at some point in time, we realized like we're really different people, and maybe we want different things from life. And we were doing long distance. She'd moved to Singapore. I was still in India.
Okay.
And it just got really unhealthy too, because at that age, you don't know who you are. You're trying to figure out who you are. And yeah, we just became like sort of codependent.
So you guys stayed for the last 2 years of high school, right?
Oh, we stayed through pretty much the entirety of college too.
Yeah, so 2 years of high school, then, 4 years of college.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the relationship kind of just, fell apart, you would say?
There were cracks, along the way. But I think like we had been through so much because our parents didn't want us to be together. So we kind of like trauma bonded. And at one point of time, I was like, this is so... I actually broke up with her multiple times.
Okay. Like secret dating? So?
Secret dating? No.
Okay.
But I basically told her like, yo, you're driving me insane. I don't want to keep doing this. But she was like, oh, we've been through so much together. You can't give up on us. We have to keep, fighting. So I was like, okay, I'll give it another try. But we just stopped respecting each other. And I feel like to make a relationship work, you really need respect.
Yeah, for sure. But, I think the mindset you have right now is probably like developed after that relationship.
For
right?
sure. I think like she was a really good partner. I can confidently say that she loved me.
Okay.
Like she really loved me, cared for me, and wanted me to be a good person. So I got really lucky. I can't even lie. I have a lot of like respect for what she was able to help me do. But like at a certain point of time, you care about someone, but from a distance. And I was never single. I was never single till that point. So I never knew who I was as an individual. So I spent the next 2 years just being single. Of course, like, I was going out on dates and like casually doing stuff, but I knew that I need to like figure some of my own issues out before I jump into another relationship.
So would you want to go back if you were given the opportunity?
Fuck no, absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
There's no question about it, because I saw that I was not in love with her anymore towards the end. When she told me she wanted to break up, I was relieved.
Okay.
I was like, thank fucking God.
Okay.
This like relationship which brought me so much joy, I hate this. Like, I hate this bitch. And it was like really bad. It made me feel really sad that someone who I care about so much, I feel so like negatively towards them now.
Yeah. So like when you said that, like, she loved you deeply and, like you were lucky to, you were being with her. That was just, saying that, like, you're really glad that happened. But if you, if you're going back again, you wouldn't want that, right?
No, I would. I mean, are you saying do I have regrets?
I mean, there's obviously regrets.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like, you just,
I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, you cherish the relationship and, like, you wish her all the best, but...
Oh, yeah. I feel like the person I am today is in a significant amount because of the relationship I had.
Okay.
Because she really motivated me to be a better person.
Okay. Okay.
It was a... And
you want to shout her out?
Shout her out. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's not going to see this, but yeah.
Okay.
I hope you're doing well. I think she's dating someone else and they're pretty serious. So I wish you all the best and hope you're doing well.
Okay. So are you seeing someone?
Yes.
Right now?
I am seeing someone right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And
how'd you guys meet?
How we meet?
Mm-hmm.
We work together.
Oh, okay. So is she white? Is she white?
Is she white? No, she's not white. She was born and raised in the US, but she's Indian.
Oh, that one girl, right?
Yeah.
Brazilian.
No, dude, I said Indian. Okay. No, but there was someone who was Brazilian.
Right.
Who was also like someone who we were not in the same lab, but she also was in my program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was interesting.
So how's that going, bro?
How's my relationship going? I think it's fantastic.
Oh, you guys are dating?
Yes.
Oh,
like,
wow. Okay.
We are like committed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've met her parents and shit.
Okay, and let me to rethink of this episode because
I mean you can ask me anything
because I brought you on to talk about like dating apps or like your experiences with the dating apps.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying?
We can talk about that.
Okay, but I feel like right now it's kind of sensitive.
No, it's not. She knows. She actually. So we were friends for like 6 months before we started dating.
Okay.
And she, because we worked together, I was like, we cannot. Like, I will not make a move or do anything because we work together. You know, you don't shit where you eat. So I wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
Like, we would just talk when we would be working in the lab together. But this one time, we were working really late, as you do when you work in the lab. But she made me dinner.
Oh, wow.
And I was like...
you guys were the only two people in the lab?
There was another person.
Okay.
There was another person. But
she didn't make that...
No. It was just for us. It was just for us. And I was like...
But that's kind of awkward, right? Like, you know, she... You know...
No, she's a really sweet person. Okay. She makes like cupcakes for people in the lab. She's like a really sweet person.
So it wasn't like an exclusive thing.
No, but I was like, why did she just make it for me?
Oh, okay.
And after that, she invited me to one of her dance performances.
Okay.
And she only invited me. And I was like, what's going on?
At Tech?
At Tech, yeah. Okay. So I was just, you know, I was still trying to be professional. But I could clearly tell, like, okay, like she's inviting me to her place to hang out with her roommates and watch like White Lotus, you know? Mm-hmm. So clearly like she wants to be friends, and that's where like I kept it until it got to a point where it was really clear that she's like trying to flirt with me, and at that point in time I was like, okay, you know, there's no...
And you just kind of broke the ice.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been dating?
It's been a little more than 2 months, so it's pretty new.
Oh, okay.
But I really have to say...
So, like...
Yeah.
Kind of right after we went out last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You're cuffed now.
No, so we were, like, casually seeing each other, but I told her, like, I need time to figure out if I want to, like, you know, actually seriously date you.
Okay.
And worked out.
Okay. Well, like, so obviously you met girls on dating apps before, right?
Yeah.
Like you went out with them, and, you know, probably went out a few days with them even, you know. So like, what would you say is the one difference between like girls you meet in real life than, you know, online dating?
Massive difference. And I've talked about this with some of my friends. I feel like when you're on an app,
right.
And also, I have to specify, like, I've used these apps in like different countries, different places.
Yeah, obviously. So throughout the years.
Yes. Okay. So like,
when did you first start it?
When did I first start? Like the first time I used a dating app, it was December 2022, right after my breakup.
Oh, not that long ago.
Yeah, okay. So I've not been on the apps for too long.
Okay.
So so different cultures operate differently. Like when I used to live in Europe, women were really... Like the way you went on dates is really different compared to the way dates work here versus the way dates work in India. Okay. So I think like the cultural context which you're in changes how you use the apps. So
can you describe more about the dates you went on in Europe?
Sure. So when I was in Europe, the dudes never expected to pay. That's
really?
Like, the girl paid for me. Twice. I went on 2 dates with 2 different women. Both of them paid for me.
Like you didn't even take out your wallet.
Oh, she was like, no. You're a guest. I want to pay for you. By the way,
what do you mean?
A girl has paid for me in the US. I went on a date here, and she was like, I had such a great time. I'm gonna pick up the bill. I was like, please, so nice. There's no need. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And unfortunately, I didn't go on a second date with her. I didn't take her back. You know, so.
Okay.
But. Yeah, so I've actually seen, like, it's not the norm that, the dude always has to pay. But, of course, like, I've always offered, and I've paid a bunch of times. But you would be surprised how many times, like, women have offered to pay completely, not even split.
Right, yeah.
So maybe that's, like, just my experience because I don't know about others. Because I've always heard, like, oh, my God, man, I've been going on all these dates. They're so expensive. And, you know, like, I always got to pay. Yeah. So could just be my experience. But in terms of, like, dating in Europe, I personally think, dude, every place is so beautiful. I used to live in Switzerland.
Okay,
and
gorgeous.
A fantastically beautiful place. So a date could just be, like, a picnic by the lake.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think the the things where you would the sort of things you would do are slightly different here. Like you'd maybe go to a bar,
Yeah, like
go to a restaurant. It's really urban. Yeah, you know, you're not gonna like sit in Piedmont Park maybe for like your first date.
Oh
like,
hell no.
Hell no, right?
Yeah.
So
During this time, hell
fuck
no.
no. Yeah, like
hell no, bro.
yeah, so I think maybe there's that. Also, I think in the US, from what I've seen, dates happen like really quickly. Like you just maybe talk a little bit and they're like, okay, I'd love to take you out on a date. I don't like that.
Yeah, me either.
I don't like that because I feel like I'm not going to put my time, money, and energy into you unless I really feel compelled to meet you.
Yeah.
That there's something about you, like through conversation, which makes me feel like, oh, I need to find out more about you. And as a result, all the dates I've been on have gone well.
Okay.
You know, like
because you took your time.
I took my time. Like I either got on a phone call. I either got on like a video call or a phone call, and we talked about something, or we just like texted for like a couple hours at a stretch, and I was like, damn, the conversation's really good. I think it would be fun to meet this person in real life. So
how would you say is the duration before you can go out with the girl? Like how long you guys have to talk for?
There's no
a week,
like
2 weeks.
Man, no. I personally feel like if the chemistry is there,
right? Yeah.
You want to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But sometimes just because like life's busy, people have jobs, people have things to do. Maybe they're not free except for the weekends. Things take a little longer.
Yeah.
But in that time, if you're still communicating and the conversation's good, doesn't matter if it's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Because I have friends who literally were like in the talking stage for months because their schedules just didn't match. Somebody was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody had like work commitments or something.
But also, I feel like this just not meant to be for them to meet.
No.
In that scenario.
I know someone who's been dating for over a year and they met like after 2 months of talking. So there's no like rules to the game.
Okay.
That's what I think. Okay. And what you asked me about meeting people in real life,
right? Yeah.
I strongly recommend people to go a pair of fucking balls and approach people in real life. Like being behind a screen has made us really like underconfident. And I think human beings are supposed to talk.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and because we're so comfortable just like being behind
especially
a screen.
for dudes, I think.
Especially for dudes. Maybe because they're afraid of being rejected. I think that's a big part of it. Man, rejection, you're always going to be rejected. But if you never fucking try, you're never going to know.
And also, online, you see all these profiles, all these girls, you
it's called decision paralysis.
Think to yourself that you got so many options.
That's exactly it. When if I put like 10 different dishes in front of you, you would not know what to pick. Not to objectify women like their dishes or something. But the point is that when you meet people in real life, you take the time to connect with them and see them as people.
Yeah.
Of course, like if you just want to hook up, I think apps are perfect. That's kind of what they're made for, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you want to like develop a relationship with someone, where you're trying to see like, can I see myself spending like the rest of my life with this person or develop like a relationship, it's not going to happen over like a really short duration. I mean, there's people who have used apps as like the channel for meeting people, but I think like if you're a well-rounded person, if you have hobbies and interests, if you have like a social life, if you have friends, if you have a personality, you're going to meet people.
Yeah.
And people reciprocate the energy you send out. So if you're a person who's like really excited or someone who has like enthusiasm for life, you're going to attract people who have that same energy. And so I like the girl I'm dating right now, we were friends for a while.
Okay.
So she could really...
That's how it should be.
She saw all the things which were wrong with me, or the red flags, which you would call.
Yeah.
Because when you're on a dating app and you're on a date, you're trying to present the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to talk about all the things you are insecure about or you struggle with or things like that. But if I'm like, we're friends, I can tell you about the things which I'm struggling with, or, I feel like I don't go to the gym enough.
The good and bad.
Yeah, the good and bad. You're not trying to like paint a picture of being someone who you're not. It's not authentic.
For sure. Because, that person could only be liking the other half of you,
so
not the
even
whole
if they
image.
even if they do like the person they're seeing, it's not the true side of you. So you're not letting them love you in who you really are.
I feel like you're a dating coach right now, bro.
I don't know. I haven't like. I don't think I'm qualified enough to give people advice, but I can just talk about my own experience and people who I've seen around me. You know?
Yeah, but I feel like you really know the game of dating. Like you know the whole concept.
People make it a game, man. People, you can make it a game if you want it to, depending on what your goal is. You know.
But sometimes it's a game. You know what I'm saying? Because like,
dude, everything's a game that way.
Because I feel like you
just gotta know how to play it.
For me, I started using dating app in 2016, right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, 2016.
Yeah.
Like we
veterans.
So me and my friends all started as a joke because we were in high school and there were only 10 of us, international students. So we were kind of just swiping, each other, what I'm saying? at the beginning. But like throughout the years, I kind of learned that, it's more so like a game and competition, because like if you went out on a date with few girls and you pour your heart into and your time, energy, and money, and it didn't work out, you're just rethink and reevaluate the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to like just see what's out there and not really like like you said, take your time and just invest in each girl. That's just how I think.
So I think that I meet a ton of women every day. I mean, I don't mean that like in the way you think. Like, you meet a lot of people on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you meet a lot of women on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I meet a lot of men and women.
Okay.
If you have friends and you're like fairly social, I think that's like the point.
Yeah.
If you don't have if you don't like, let's say, play a sport, or you don't have a hobby, you're not going to be meeting people on a regular basis, right? If you meet people on a regular basis and they're normal people, they will introduce you to their friends.
Right, yeah.
And that's how you kind of build like a social network. And sometimes you find people who are really interesting to talk to.
Right, yeah.
And that's when you like take it further, or you think they're really attractive, like this girl's so attractive, I feel like I want to talk to her more. Yeah. But maybe it doesn't lead to anything, you know?
Yeah.
But when you're on the app, the objective of the app is to get a date. So you are playing a game. The game is to get a date.
Yeah.
But if the game is to just connect with people, then you're not playing the game anymore. So you're not going to be focused about, oh, I'm losing. Oh, I spent so much time. I suck at this game, or whatever it is. So I personally think a lot of my friends used to be really sad when they would be on the apps because they just felt like nobody's swiping on me. Because,
really?
Because they're guys.
Okay.
And the ratio is so skewed if you're a dude on a dating app. Because there's obviously way more men compared to women, and the women have the power to choose. And trust me, I have female friends who've told me that they hate using the apps, despite getting like hundreds, and I mean hundreds of matches every day, because decision paralysis. You see all these different people, you can't make a choice. And I personally think this is really bad for like people and society in general, which is why I'm so strongly advocating for just like touching grass, man, like going out, going to the club, doing activities, spend your money there rather than buying like Tinder Premium,
But
that's what I think.
Tinder Premium is crazy, man.
I mean, so many people. I have friends who've bought like the paid subscriptions of these apps, and these companies are really smart. They give you enough matches to make you feel like, okay, it's working.
Yeah. So you can keep paying.
So you can keep paying them. These are all fucking companies which have immense amounts of data, which they're using to keep you hooked. In fact, by the way, when I was like really into using these apps, I figured out. So the way it works is that there's a matching algorithm. So when you open the app, when you make a new account, they see you get like all sorts of different profiles. Okay, you get attractive women and maybe not so attractive women, and you swipe on the attractive women, right? Because they're attractive, but your profile is also being shown to other people.
Yeah.
And if people are not liking you back, you will stop being recommended to people because the algorithm works on a match being made. So if you keep liking people who are not going to like you back, your profile is going to be recommended to less attractive people. So when I was playing the game, I kind of figured out you need to be realistic about who you're swiping on. Because if you're swiping on a, like some absolute bombshell, like a 10 out of 10, and she's probably getting thousands of likes from guys like me, she's not going to like back. So I swipe right or whatever. I swipe no.
Yeah,
because
more.
Huh?
You swipe no. You swipe left more than right.
Yeah. So I swipe on people who I think are gonna swipe back on me.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
or like people that you think will genuinely have a true connection with you.
Of course, like that's my perspective now. But when I was like really like I want dates. I want dates. I was like, how can I?
Hungry.
I was desperate. When I was like fucking down bad, like I need some.
Man.
So
my guy was starving.
I was starving. Okay, like when I was desperate, I was like, if I want my profile to be recommended, if I want my profile to go to the girls who I actually would date, I gotta make sure I'm getting matches.
Yeah.
The way to get matches is to go for like maybe the 6s or the 7s, maybe not just the 10s, because the probability of the 10s liking me back is kind of low. Because I don't think I'm a 10. I think I'm probably like a 7 on a good day.
Your
7 on a good day.
Your confidence is through the roof, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Personality-wise, I would probably say I'm a 9. Physical, dude, you're so tall. You're way better looking than me. But but when you start talking to people, they care the most about how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And because looks only take you a certain way. You got to be cute enough to like, pass that initial barrier. If you're like fucking overweight and you're ugly, bro, nothing's going to work. No matter how good your personality is. Yeah. So that's why you got to go to the gym. You got to groom yourself. You got to dress well. But after a certain point, it doesn't matter. After a certain point, it's about like, can you talk to people? Can you connect with them? Can you make them feel certain ways? So that's what I think.
So like, since we were talking about like just meeting people in real life, right? Well, that's kind of like my biggest concern now, because.
Are you trying to date?
Yeah, bro.
Like seriously?
Like I'm not down bad about like just sexual activities.
Yeah,
I'm down bad of just like
you want emotional intimacy.
Yeah, like just dating people, bro. Like, but the lifestyle I have right now, like I go to work, go to the gym, and come home, and that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying?
You have
like there's no
room.
There's no like opportunity for me to meet girls outside of what I'm doing. Because what I do, I'm in construction.
Yeah, there's no women there. There's no women there.
All guys, bro.
Yeah.
And like I don't feel like you can meet someone genuine at bars or at clubs when you go out and stuff.
I would agree, because they're out there to have fun. They're not looking to find their husband.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit delusional to even begin with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like what's your advice? Where what would you say to I don't know, put myself out there more?
Okay, I think this is like really. A lot of people say you should never do this. But I think if you're like a normal person, which I think you are, you're not creepy. You can talk to people at the gym.
Yeah.
You can talk to the people. It's not like you got a fat ass or it's just like, hey, how's it going? My name's Fred. That's it. And if there's someone who you see regularly, that's actually perfect. Because you don't have to do everything the first time you talk to someone, right? Like I go to the gym at the university, there's some people I see regularly,
right?
And we just say hi to each other.
Like, you're here again, chest day or whatever.
Yeah. So I personally think, firstly, I don't agree with what you said that you don't have the time.
No, I'm not saying I don't have the time. I'm just saying I'm not. Like I don't have the capability of meeting people outside of this circle. You know what I mean? Outside of this bubble I got going on. You know, it's not that I don't have time.
Yeah.
You know, I know myself. I have time. It's just like, you know, like this routine I got.
You got a routine. You know? I get it. Yeah. I feel like, again, I would, and this is why I like to connect people. Mm-hmm. I would love to throw a party and introduce you to my friends.
Okay.
You know, maybe how did we meet?
Through Jamie.
There we go. Yeah. Somebody else organized a party and we met and I started singing Chinese fucking songs and this guy was like, yo, how the fuck does he know this? And I was like, oh, you're cool. Then you invited me to a dinner and I met your friends and then we just hung out. See, so it's really like these small things where you create like a social environment for people to talk and interact where you make friends.
Connect.
Yeah. And I feel like in today's world where everyone's just so focused on making their money, moving up their career, it's much harder for people to connect that way.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
Because we're all so busy all the fucking time. And that's one thing I hate about America, man. I've never felt like this go. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like I constantly feel like I need to be doing something or need to be productive. Right. And this is something I really appreciated when I used to live in Switzerland. People just took the time to do nothing.
Yeah, they're so laid back.
Dude, on Sundays, everything's closed. I do not mean this as a joke. The grocery store's closed. All shops are closed. Because they're like, people who work at these shops need time to rest and be with their families too.
But like, how do they like...
You plan before. You know that the grocery store is going to be closed on Sunday, so you do your shopping during the week.
But like, you know, the infrastructures or, you know, those like important stuff are definitely open, right? On Sundays. Like...
hospitals open, man.
Like utility station. Companies, like, you know, like
maybe
I don't know, Georgia Power, Switzerland Power.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
those stuff. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But they also pay like a huge amount for tax. Though.
Taxes,
that's why their benefits are so like great.
I feel like having that social protection allows people to live their life better.
Oh, you think so?
I absolutely strongly believe this, that one of the biggest things in America is this individualism, which we talk about, you know, that I am free to do whatever I want.
Right, yeah.
It's a really liberating concept, but at the same time, think about it. If I'm so focused on myself, I'm not going to think that much about the people around me because forming community is inconvenience. If, let's say I called you up and I went like, hey man, I need a ride to the airport. It's going to cause some inconvenience to you, right? Because maybe you have other things you need to do, which you would have to stop and help me out. And I have to pay that favor back in some way, you know? If you need some help, I would have to help you out. So the cost of like being individualistic is being isolated.
Yeah.
And guess what? Being isolated makes you a better consumer. Think about it. If, let's say I don't have a car, okay? And I'm trying really hard not to get a car. But let's say most cities in America require you to have a car to get to any place.
Yeah.
Okay? And I didn't know anyone. I had no friends. What would I do? I would have to buy a car if I have the money.
Right, yeah.
You know, I do have the money, but I'm not going to buy a car. But if I have friends, I can ask them to help me out.
But also, like, my philosophy is that, like, you know, I know people are busy, so I don't want to bother them sometimes. If I can,
you don't want to feel like a burden.
If I can accomplish things on myself, I would, do it that way. But if there's stuff I have to ask my friends for a favor, for example, like moving, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's when
so of course there's a balance to it. You don't want to be like a fucking freeloader asking your friends for like hey man, can you take me this everywhere? Like it depends on specific things. But I feel like in today's culture, we've been kind of conditioned to not depend on other people. You know, one thing which I really like about, I think, Asian cultures is that we all share food when we eat together. And that was a big thing which nobody did in Europe. We order our own dishes and we eat that. Like we don't share, you know? Some people still do that. But I say like Western society is really about like, this is mine, this is yours, that's it. And
I mean, you're more than welcome to share your plate with me, you know, and I will share my plate with you, but that's it. There's no...
Dude, like, I know of some places where if you're invited to someone else's house, when it's time for dinner, they tell you to leave.
Really?
Like, they won't offer you to stay for dinner and eat. They would, like, tell you, like, okay, it's time for dinner. I think, you know, you gotta go. This happens in the Netherlands. I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. Different cultures have different, like, forms of hospitality. Like if you go to like Southern Europe, like Italy, people there are extremely warm. Like anytime you go to anyone's place, they are not letting you leave without eating.
Okay.
Because like food's a way to connect.
Yeah.
You know this. You know this. Like when somebody makes food and you call people over to your house, it's a way to connect.
Yeah.
And that's why you have potlucks and all these different things. And I think a big aspect of society is how connected we feel to the people around us. You know, we live in Atlanta. Atlanta's a huge city. Do you feel like you were more connected back in China versus here?
Well, definitely because, you know, I grew up there. You know what I'm saying? I had my social circles, my friends and my family, and you know, the place I go to. But
you feel like you've made an attempt to make those social circles here? And I think that's why a lot of people struggle when they move.
Well, I feel like, you know, there's a balance to it.
There's a balance to it.
And, you know, like I do agree that, you know, individualism is
it has
way
pros
for
and
you
cons.
to like consume things.
Yeah.
But also it's a way for you to, you know, get things done and, you know,
Be
to know
productive.
yourself more. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah, because like, you know, when you're with people or when you're out there doing stuff with people, like you're around with like, you know, oh, you gotta interact with other people.
You gotta think about other people, which
Yeah.
can get really exhausting. So because I grew up in a culture which is really big on like family and society, I used to feel suffocated by it.
Okay.
I fucking hated having to think about 4 different people every time I wanted to do something.
Yeah.
So when I moved out, I was so happy because for the first time in my life, I did not have to think about anyone except for me.
Okay.
And that was amazing. I could do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. I can talk to whoever I want because I didn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And it felt amazing.
At first.
After a certain point of time, you realize nobody gives a fuck about you.
Really?
Think about it.
How so?
Because like when you're in and
like in a way of like
it's a good thing and a bad thing, you know. I can wear whatever I want. Nobody's gonna give a fuck. But if I'm like hurting, if I'm in pain, or if I feel like I don't have people around me, I'm going through a hard time, nobody gives a fuck. Unless you say something, you know, unless you talk to people around you and you tell them like, man, I've been really feeling like shit, you know. And then maybe some people would be interested in like asking you what's up. That's one thing. In the US, everyone talks about, hey, how you doing? But nobody actually wants to know how you're doing. It's just like, I'm good. How about you? And you move on. It's like a social nicety. So when I initially moved, I would actually be like, yeah, you know, it's been kind of hard. And sometimes they'd be like confused because they weren't expecting me to answer honestly. So
like they wouldn't want to hear that, oh, like, you know, it's not very well that, you know, I've been going through this like mental breakdown or stuff like that. All they wanted to hear was like, oh, I'm fine. I'm good, you know?
Because there's like, we have these barriers where we want to present that everything's okay, but sometimes things are not okay, you know? And it's just about like being real with people when you meet and talk to them, which I think allows you to connect more. Even whether it's like romantic relationships, whether it's personal, like non-romantic relationships. So in terms of like meeting people, man,
Yeah, we were just talking
You have
about
a guitar right
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
Do you like playing the guitar?
I mean, I'm learning.
See, you're learning. What if you went to a guitar class on the weekends?
Guitar class.
There's probably people who teach how to play guitar,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're going to meet other people who are also learning guitar who have a shared interest.
Yeah, like during the last episode, you know, I was just talking about the same issue with my other friend, right? Xiaoai, you met her? Xiaoai?
Was she at the dinner?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So, you know, by going out and doing stuff, you're definitely gonna increase your possibility of meeting people, or you know, eventually meet people you like, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, dating someone is kind of tricky, you know.
What does dating mean to you? Let me ask
so
you.
Like, you know, intimacy.
Do you think that happens over
No.
immediately?
It's definitely not, you know, like you know, speed or overnight kind of thing. Okay, so like we talk about, you know, all these stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about like how like your experience with the dating apps. Like, you know, has there been like any like girls you went on a date and you feel like, you know, there was an ick and you wouldn't want to go back just for that reason?
Yes. I met someone, and this was here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a date. We had really good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It was super fun, but she was chewing gum the entire time. She was chewing gum the entire time we were talking. It really pissed me off.
Was she white?
No.
Oh, really?
She was not white. She was actually mixed.
Oh, okay. Mix of
black and white. Like
okay.
mixed race.
Light skin.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I have an ick for people who chew gum, especially while I'm talking to them.
Right, yeah.
So she was
Face
really
to face.
sweet. She was not disrespectful. We actually had lunch and we had so much fun. We went to IKEA after. So
She was chewing gum during lunch?
before the food came, like when we were having like drinks and stuff.
Okay.
And it just like was really annoying to me. Like that's one of the things like in my brain, which I just like get really pissed off. So that's one thing which comes to my mind. But to be honest, all the people I've met I've always had positive experiences. I've had some funny experiences. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
So okay.
You can talk about anything.
This
bro.
is really funny. So this was when I was living in Switzerland, and I went on this date with this like Bengali girl. So I'm actually Bengali myself, but I'm Indian.
Right.
So like she was Bangladeshi. So they speak the same language, but they're usually Muslim.
Okay.
Okay. So this girl, she was born and raised in Switzerland. She spoke French. Like that was her first language. And she spoke Bengali with a French accent. It was the craziest thing I could ever think. Like my brain could not comprehend.
That's pretty cute.
It was really crazy. And she was really attractive too. So we went on our first date.
Yeah.
And because she's like lived in Switzerland her whole life, she's pretty, let's say, like westernized. Like, you know, like she smokes, she goes on dates and like stuff like that. But she doesn't eat pork because that's like haram.
Oh yeah,
okay?
haram. Yeah.
And when we were
pork?
like, I eat pork.
Okay,
I eat
okay.
everything.
Okay,
I eat
okay.
beef and whatever.
Okay.
So when we were like talking, she told me some things which were like kind of strange.
Yeah.
You know, like some like religious stuff, and I was just like, you know, that's kind of like inconsistent. And then the second time we met, she came over to my place. So we were sitting like in my balcony, and we were talking. Like she was like kind of like sitting on my lap. She was like smoking a cigarette.
Okay.
And you know, like we were like kind of on each other,
Okay.
and we were like talking about sexual stuff.
Okay.
And she was telling me like, you know, like stuff she had like done with like someone else before and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this seems like an appropriate moment for me to like ask if I can kiss her. Okay. So I asked.
Do you always ask?
I don't always ask, but sometimes I do.
Really?
Sometimes I do. Like, dude,
Like
you break the physical barrier,
Yeah.
and if they're receptive, you know you can go further.
But also depends on the setting though.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
so
saying?
of course.
Like definitely not public. You know what I'm saying?
So
but like you know.
I was at this bar,
okay.
and I'd gone with this girl, and we had talked a lot before, and I knew that the moment we would meet, something would happen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess if you're at a bar, that's kind of
yeah,
okay.
Dude, we
But
were
not
like, it was kind of crazy.
kind of stuff.
No, of course not at
yeah.
IKEA. Like that was a very different vibe. Yeah. But anyway, she was at my place. It was a really intimate setting. I made her like creme brulee. I made like dessert and stuff.
Okay.
And so it's like the perfect moment to kiss.
Right, yeah.
So I asked her like, hey, like, can I kiss you? And she said, you know, I really want to kiss you, but it's Ramadan. Do you know what Ramadan is?
It's
like the holy month. Yeah. It's the month where like the Muslim people fast.
Right.
And she was like,
for like a month, right?
A whole month. So they only eat.
Late
after
sunset.
After sunset.
Yeah.
So
and can only drink water during the day.
Yeah. So
what does that have to do with?
Oh, you're not supposed to do anything haram.
So kissing is haram?
Yeah, but she was smoking, which is also haram.
Wait, so how is kissing is not haram?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not Muslim. I don't know how it works. But she basically told me that I can't kiss you because...
Until the sunset?
Until the month gets over.
Until the month?
And I think it was like maybe 10 more days until the month got over. So after that, I was like, I'm never meeting this girl again. Like,
Oh, really?
She's crazy. Like, okay, I don't want to like disrespect anyone's religious beliefs. But, dude, we were like... my hand was on her thigh. She was like sitting on my lap.
Yeah.
She was smoking a cigarette. We were talking about like how she was giving head to someone in like the back of her car.
No.
How is this the line?
Wait. So let me ask you this first. Then we can go back to that scenario. How do you feel when when girls like share their past experience with other guys to you?
I mean, obviously, it doesn't come out of nowhere. We were talking about it,
but and also it depends on the level of how well you know that person.
Of course, I don't feel anything.
Yeah, but like how you don't feel anything.
No, if the girl's trying, there's reasons why people tell you things.
Right. Yeah.
If the girl's trying to tell you, oh, my ex used to do this or something, as a way to like passively tell you that, oh, you're not doing what I want, like what my exes did. I find that to be really unattractive.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
I'm not your fucking old man. Go back to him if you like that so much, But if someone's just like talking about stuff they used to do with their previous partners, which they really enjoyed, I don't care. I mean, like, okay, cool. That tells me that we can do that type of shit too.
Do you think...
I love that you have this mug. I know that they make these cast iron pans, which like last forever.
Yeah.
It's Le Creuset. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this brand, my mom loves this brand. So,
it's fantastic.
Every cool. Pot and, pantry, whatever she got, in the kitchen is,
It's good stuff. That brand. It's good stuff. Sorry, yeah.
No, so like, do you think it would turn out any different if you didn't ask that question? If you just, went for it?
Went for what?
Went for like, kiss.
Could have it gone differently? Maybe. I don't know.
Like she, I don't know.
Maybe she would have been okay with it. Yeah.
Like maybe she wouldn't, say anything.
Yeah, maybe.
About it. Yeah.
But I just felt like that was the right move at that point in time.
Okay, yeah.
But
I respect that.
There's been other times where it was real, dude. Like if my face is like right next to you or yours, I know we're gonna kiss.
That's a bad example.
Like, so that's like there's certain moments where you build up the tension and it's going to lead to a kiss. This was not that. Like we were talking about stuff, but it was not like.
But do you think it would be like inappropriate or even impolite to just like
go in for a kiss?
Yeah, go ahead, kiss a girl. Because there will be times that like if we were like sitting down, like in my house or at a bar or whatever, and we've talked for like I don't know 30 minutes, an hour, however long that could be, right?
And she's feeling you, you're feeling her,
and there will be times I would just stare at her lips.
Yeah. If that's, no, this works,
bro. Yeah,
this works.
That works every single
this works.
time, bro.
If you just like make serious eye contact with a girl for a while, and she like starts to blush or like look away,
and it's not like me staring for like 2 minutes. It's
just like a little bit during
for
conversation,
like 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
5-10 seconds, not minutes. Bro.
Yeah, seconds, not minutes. Yeah. And I look somewhere else.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. That works for sure. So. I think it really depends on the situation you're in, and that's something only because you're in that situation.
Yeah.
I've seen this man make out with a complete stranger in the middle of nowhere. I know he knows. I know he knows when to, go in. Did you ask her?
Not expose me like that.
Did you ask her?
Oh, I kind of did ask her. I was like, cause you told me that I should kiss her. Right?
Yeah. Her friend came up to us, and she's like, he should ask to kiss her.
Right. And you told me that.
I told you that.
Yeah, and I was kind of asking her, and I was like, oh, your friends told me that we should kiss.
Yeah.
And she was just laughing, right?
Yeah.
And I just,
and then you go for it.
Yeah.
So you got the confirmation, right? It was you basically asked, but in like a not really question way.
Right.
So when you have that confirmation, just go for it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's explicit, sometimes it's just like
bro,
body
you're the
language.
expert, bro. You're the expert of like how to pick up girls, bro.
No, so that's another thing. Like picking up women is turning it into something which actually makes it harder. Like there's a ton of these pickup artists, who talk about like, oh, you should say this, you should say that.
But like, have you seen, those influencers online? They have like a GoPro or whatever camera.
Oh yeah,
like a body cam, right?
Yeah.
And they just go talk to random girls on the street.
Yes.
So do you think that should be like the norm of how to like talk to girls, or there's like you gotta watch those like pickup artists, like you said?
I think those pickup artists are trying to sell you their course and make money.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's their goal.
Yeah.
And maybe what they do works for them. I think you need to try things and see what works for you. Of course, like you need to build up confidence, and I think that is always the most important thing, because women are not going to approach you. Like we don't live in a world where a girl's going to come up to you in the middle of nowhere. That has happened, but it's really rare, where a girl's gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, I think you're really cute. Buy me a drink or go out on a date with me."
What does that say?
It says hi, bro.
No. This.
Dude, I don't speak. I don't know.
You don't speak Arabic.
What the fuck? I'm Indian. We speak Hindi. That's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, bro.
I speak Hindi, Bengali, French, and English.
But do you understand when somebody speaks Arabic? Like just a little bit?
No.
Even?
No. So the common language which you might be thinking of is Urdu. So Urdu spoken sounds the exact same as Hindi, but it's written in an Arabic script.
Okay.
So I don't know what that says, but if you said it out loud, if it's Urdu, I will understand what it is. But Arabic, there's some like common words here and there, but I will not understand.
Or it just means, hey, solid.
That's the username.
Yeah, that's the username.
Do you know
Hi,
that?
Hi, bro. Hope you be enjoying our conversation, bro.
Is that someone you know or just like a random person?
I don't know.
Okay.
How would I know? I just shared a link to my.
Because sometimes you have like regular people who show up.
Oh, yeah.
To the streams and stuff, so you can like recognize names and shit. I don't know.
No, not really. I mean, I have 1 follower so far.
Okay. That's fair.
But can you give away your your go-to pickup line, or like your go-to just like way of like interact with girls?
I think, and I mean this with like absolute seriousness.
Yeah. Then why are you laughing?
If you know how to dance,
okay,
that's the best way to pick up women. I'm not even kidding. Like if you're really dancing with a lot of like energy.
But like, are you dancing by yourself or with friends, or like just dancing
with friends?
Dancing on a girl?
No.
Because that's different. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's weird. You should not.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen guys that just go up to girls and just dance.
Yeah.
And I feel like girls are not that comfortable of just like a random person.
Yeah.
Like,
I think okay. So I can give you an example. Like I was at a club and I was with my buddies and
Havana.
Yo, he knows what the fuck is up. But anyway, so
that night,
huh?
wait, keep going.
Yeah. So I was at the club with my boys.
Yeah.
I love Latin dance music.
Okay.
So again, man, I feel like you got to do things which you enjoy without the expectation of anything happening.
Yeah.
So I was just like really dancing and vibing, and I could see that there was a group of these two girls like next to us who were also dancing. Okay, and I would like occasionally make eye contact with them, but eventually we would move. Like the bar had like the place had different areas which with different music playing.
Yeah.
So I would like go to a different place with my buddies. We'd hang out there. We'd come back, and eventually, I could see that those girls were looking at me.
Okay.
So I went over.
Okay.
So that's when I went over because we were like dancing like right next to each other. So then I just like, joined their circle, and then they were dancing with me.
Yeah.
Okay. And at one point in time, like one of the friends started like twerking on me, and, and I was just like, shit, and yeah, that's how it happens. So I personally think like if you just have like, if you're enjoying yourself,
great energy,
if you have great energy, if you're really enjoying yourself, if you're not a person who likes like loud music and you're really conscious about dancing, bro, you're not gonna feel comfortable at a bar.
But I feel like that's for like certain people, right?
It's
that's
for certain
like,
people. It's for me.
Extreme extroverts.
Nah, I don't think it's like you gotta.
Or like you gotta be like at least know how to like show yourself.
I suck at dancing.
In a public setting.
I'm a shit dancer. I have no coordination. I just like to move.
Okay.
So you can just do this.
Okay.
Like I can show you videos of me dancing. I am fucking trash.
Okay.
I am not a good dancer, but I just enjoy myself. I like moving my body to the music. And whoever's there sees that and they find that attractive, and then, we just keep dancing. So that's one thing. But pickup lines, I think just like see something you actually like and compliment them on it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love your hair. Do you always wear it like that? I mean, that's fucking basic as shit.
Bro, you gotta show me some dance move. Are you okay with that? I'll just play some like Latin.
Okay. Fuck it, bro. You gotta dance with me. You gotta dance with me.
Bro, I'm not in any shape or form tipsy, bro.
I'm gonna show you what I do, and you gotta copy.
So is this gonna? No.
I mean.
What kind of Latin music?
Wait, I love Danza Kuduro. That's one. Danza. Yeah, that's one. I fucking love this song. So good.
Which one?
No.
This one?
Yep.
Fast and Furious type shit, bro. Fast and Furious type shit, bro.
You just gotta act it out. Come on, get up.
Bro, why the? Bro.
Just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, but like, what's your like go-to like your?
My go-to dance move?
Yeah, your go-to dance move. Yeah.
I have no clue, man. You just do whatever the fuck you like.
Okay.
And just look like you're having a good time.
Okay.
I think that's it. As you saw, I have no skills. Zero fucking skills. It's all about confidence at the end of the day, man. That's what I think it really boils down to.
Yeah.
Just got to be confident, whether you're approaching women, whether you're doing something without, you don't care if I feel like a lot of people are really self-conscious because we're worried like, oh, how are people going to judge me? How do I look? And something which I learned kind of young. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares or thinks about you as much as you do.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like the number of times I was scared to do something.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, how are people going to see me? Mm-hmm. And I did it. Yeah. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck in the way that I thought they would. Yeah. Like nobody came out to me and they were like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you like, doing this or that? Most people either don't care or they're like, oh, I saw you doing that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So I started like posting like reels from like the places I would travel to when I lived in Europe.
Yeah.
And I've not been able
on your Instagram?
On my Instagram.
Okay.
And I used to think that was like something really cringe, which people used to do.
Yeah.
You know? But then I was like, this is my way of like creative expression. This is what I like doing.
Yeah.
Just like you're doing a podcast,
Yeah.
you know? Some people would be like, oh, why the fuck would you do a podcast? No one's going to listen. It's so fucking stupid. But you're doing it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
You don't care what other people might think, right?
Yeah.
So I really want a dog, but it's really hard to... I know I will get a dog at some point, but it's just like I'm so busy, and I feel like if you don't have a partner because you're at work, the dog's going to be alone. No one's there to like take him out to walk or stuff like that.
Yeah. That's, you know, that's...
Do you have a dog walker or something?
No. What happens with Snow? So like, ever since I got him, it kind of limits me to like travel.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because like you gotta think about him before like making any, you know, like traveling decisions.
Like it's your kid,
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of responsibility, and I feel like I'm not ready to take that on right now.
Okay.
But eventually,
it's almost like having a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know. My parents never let me get a dog as a kid. I was like mad about that. But my cousins always had pets, so I would see how like they could not go on vacations with us because somebody has to stay at home and take care of the dog or something. You know.
Okay.
But I think it's pretty cool. You have a dog.
Bro, you said that like 5 times, bro.
Do you know how much women love dogs?
Yeah, I know.
If you just took your dog to a dog park,
you're
going to meet a lot of women who are going to be like, oh, your dog's so cute. And then just talk to them.
But that's for like Stone, right? That's not just for me.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
You told me
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
You told me you can meet people.
I can't meet new people.
I see a perfect reason to meet new people every day.
So would you say that you kind of just like settle down right now with the relationship?
Settle down?
Like, you know, in terms of just like, you know,
it's really new. But yeah, I think this person I've met, she's amazing. Like, I genuinely don't think people have a tendency to judge each other, right? And in my past relationships, especially like the 6-year-long one, I felt like I was judged a lot. And I would judge her too, don't get me wrong. But I think as I've grown as an individual, I've come to realize that when you like really care about someone, you accept them as they are. Like, you know that they have these deficiencies, but you still want them, like, not like despite it, because of it. Because they see that there's something which they lack and they're trying to work on it and make it better.
Yeah.
And that's how I think the basis of like a really healthy relationship. Like, we both have goals and aspirations, and we both have struggles too, but we don't judge each other for it. And we're kind to each other and very empathetic. So I think
all the good qualities,
fantastic qualities. But don't get me wrong, it's hard. Like, any relationship to maintain, whether it's like romantic or platonic, requires time, energy, and attention.
So, like, do you believe platonic relationships?
Platonic relationships,
no,
like
friendships.
Men and women?
Yeah, friendships.
Absolutely. Some of my closest friends are women.
Really?
I've always felt that it was easier to talk to girls than guys. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I agree.
It's crazy because at one point of time, like, it's so funny to say this, but some people like who didn't know me that well used to think I was gay. Because I would just hang out with girls all the time.
Really?
I'm not even fucking making this up. But when they would talk to me, they would be like, oh, he likes girls. And I think it really...
So would you say like you're the guy that brings girls over whenever there's a party?
Here, maybe not so much.
But back home, yes.
Back home, yeah. Yes. I was definitely the person who had like more female friends, I guess.
Okay.
And I think it might have to do because I have 2 younger sisters. Like, I grew up with women around me. It was just me and my dad and my grandmother, my mom, my 2 sisters. So I was like well socialized with women.
Right.
I didn't hang out with that many dudes.
Yeah, I was, you know, besides my dad, I was the only guy in the family.
Exactly.
Too,
So when I went to university was when I really had like a lot of close male friends, and I could see how you interact differently with guys versus women. Women love to talk about their feelings. Okay? And I feel like generally speaking, men have a harder time talking about how they're feeling.
Right,
it's more about like a shared activity. We both like go to the gym together. We both like go out and party together. Or we're taking the same classes, we're in the same sorority or something. It's not more it's not about like the feelings type shit. And sometimes like there's some guys who think that's really like, you're being so gay, why are you sitting like talking about your feelings? But all my friends, I would not be friends with them if they could not talk about how they're feeling, because that's just like a sign of emotional immaturity, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I feel like, you know, guys tend to talk about like, you know, other stuff most of the time, and girls tend to talk about themselves most of the time. Do you agree or no?
That's interesting.
Yeah, because
I think,
you know, for example, like the feelings thing you were talking about, right? Like, you know, they tend to talk about, you know, their struggles at work, or, you know, this, you know, relationship with this guy, or, you know, those kind of stuff. But guys tend to talk about, oh, this class, you know, it's my bulking season, but I'm not gaining as much, you know, those kind of stuff. You know
I think my personal opinion, everyone wants to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Everyone. I just think men find it harder to talk about themselves than women do. I don't know if that's a societal thing or if it's just how you're conditioned. But generally speaking, everyone loves to talk about themselves. Everyone.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, were you given that space to talk about yourself as a kid, which allows you to do that as an adult?
Right, yeah.
What I think. Of course, like, your interests vary, you know? Like, my girlfriend loves to talk about how much she loves K-pop. Absolutely, dude, she drives me like insane sometimes with all the different dances and all these things. I do not give a single flying fuck about K-pop. But the thing is, because she cares about it,
and
I care about her, I take interest.
Right, yeah. Or
we sat and watched My Little Pony.
Or at least you'd
be surprised how interesting. They have an episode about communism on My Little Pony. This is not a joke.
Okay.
Would you ever think that was possible?
No. But like you will like, you know, educate yourself to, you know, because how much you like her, you're like,
I guess it's not even education. It's just like, I enjoy spending time with her so much that it really doesn't matter what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I could be sitting and showing her some movie which I really like. She doesn't give a fuck about it, but she still watches it because I'm so excited when I'm like watching it and I'm explaining like, oh, like, I love Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
She could not give less of a fuck about it. So when we're like sitting and watching Breaking Bad, I'm explaining all these things to her, and I know she like doesn't care about it that much, but she's still like, ooh, okay, cool. So I think like a relationship is not just based on if you have common interests. Of course, that's somewhat important, but other times it's just like, you like the person they are. So what are you doing?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
So that's what I think.
Okay.
You should pay the man.
Pay the who?
The man. The song's called The Man. It's
Booty Bandit JC.
You're
Who is that?
Play it?
Play who?
The song.
What song?
It's a really motivational song.
The Man?
Yeah. This one.
Okay.
Have you heard this song?
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. That's it. It's like a hype song, but like a positive hype song. It's not like listening to Kanye when you're like, I love listening to Kanye, man. No matter how much people may cancel him, I think he's fucking awesome.
So like what? So I think that was a, extremely success episode.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
And is there any message you want to give out to the world, even though there might not be many people watching right now?
Man, just be authentically you.
Uh-huh.
Don't try to fit in. I mean, man, I don't fucking know. Just try to be happy. Just do things which make you happy.
Uh-huh.
That's it. It's not that deep. I feel like we make life really more complicated than it actually is.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
You just gotta enjoy, every second of it.
have fun. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good.
Make you feel you.
Yeah.
Make you, not feeling like you have to pretend.
Yeah.
In this.
And the first step to that is
Math.
accepting who you are as a
Uh-huh,
person.
uh-huh.
Because if you can't accept yourself,
Right,
how the
yeah,
fuck can you
uh-huh.
expect other people to
Right,
accept
yeah,
you?
For sure.
But yeah, that's
All
about
right.
it.
Yeah. W stream.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, bro. Sure. I feel like we talk about a lot, and
I love
hope
the
you,
yap.
Enjoy that. Too.
I love the yap.
Yeah, and hopefully I can bring you on for future episodes as well, bro.
I will be happy. Thank you.
Bro, yeah, and thanks again. Hey, Salt and Booty
Bandit
JC. Whoever is that. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you next Saturday. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, and comment down below for my next guest. Click on my other videos somewhere on the screen. Thanks.